everybody, Bisola here, and welcome to Devotional Diaries.
And the crushing and the pressing, you are making new wine. And the soil I now surrender, you are breaking new ground. So I yield to you and to your careful hand. When I trust you, I don't need to understand. Make me your vessel, make me an offering, make me whatever you want me to be. I came here with nothing, but all you have given me. Jesus, bring new wine out of me.
So, welcome back, guys. We are moving to Romans chapter 2. Yes, our first 3 episodes focused on Romans chapter 1, and today we are moving forward. Okay, so reading from verse 1 to 3. You may think you can condemn such people, but you are just as bad. And you have no excuse. When you say they are wicked and should be punished, you are condemning yourself. For you who judge others do the very same things. And we know that God in his justice will punish anyone who does such things. Since you judge others for doing these things, why do you think you can avoid God's judgment when you do the very same things? Okay, we are going to pause here and try to understand what we have just read. If you look at the closing verses of chapter 1, I will just quickly read a few. From verse 28 of chapter 1, it says, since they thought it foolish to acknowledge God, he abandoned them to their foolish thinking and let them do things that should never be done. Their lives became full of every kind of wickedness, sin, greed, hate, envy, murder, quarreling, deception, malicious behavior, and gossip, and so on. And now, in verse 2, Paul is saying, you may think you can condemn such people, but you are just as bad. Now, I'm sure someone may be thinking, well, I try, I'm not embezzling funds like some people in power. I don't kill. I don't whore around. I don't do those things. But you know that every sin is one and the same in God's eyes. There is no severe sin or light sin. For example, do you gossip? Do you exaggerate, which is a form of a lie? Do you hold a grudge and refuse to forgive? Well. You who judge others deserve the very same thing. So you may wonder, if all these things I just mentioned are sins, then who can ever make it to heaven? I mean, you know what? Just relax. As we go on, you would understand better. May God give us understanding. So we're going to move to verse 4. It says, don't you see how wonderfully kind, tolerant, and patient God is with you? Does this mean nothing to you? Can't you see that his kindness is intended to turn you from your sin? I'll quickly stop here. Did you know that the penance for sin is death? Let me remind you what verse 32 of chapter 1 says. It says, they know God's justice requires that those who do these things, that is, those sins that were mentioned earlier, those who do these things deserve to die, yet they do them anyway. So you see, the penance for sin is death. So now we know. Well, how come you aren't dead yet? It's because Jesus died in our place. And as long as we receive him, listen, as long as we receive him, that's a condition, right? He has taken our punishment. But if we don't receive him, then his death doesn't cover for us. So the only way his death can truly replace ours is if we turn from our sin and be like, you know what, Lord, I believe you died in my place, and now I trust you to run my life. So you receive him, you accept him, and that way his death can truly replace ours. So to expound on verse 4, he's simply waiting for us to receive him, and that is why we don't see this punishment.